I think Thursday's been talking about stopping being a full-time band and stopping actually being a band at all for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We actually probably wouldn't have come to a decision so quickly, except that we thought that it would be kind of not cool of us to be like, yeah, we did a few shows and now we're not doing anything, see you later. And we all kind of felt also like under the circumstances that we decided to split, that booking a lot of other stuff after what we have commitments for already would have been, it wouldn't have been something that anybody wanted to do really at this point. But also we've always kind of been the kind of guys that like to honor the commitments that we've made, and so we were like, you know what, there's not a lot of acrimony, and you know, we really do love each other. It's just become impossible with a few things that have changed this year. It's kind of like a joy to get to play these last few shows together, you know, and really get to appreciate like our brothers. You know, we've been together for 13 years. We were on the phone on Monday talking about, like, so do we want to do this? And each person kind of giving their own, you know, I think we all knew that we were going to do it, but each person giving their own thoughts on what they love about the band and how they still love each other, and how, you know, they still want to make music together sometime at some point. If it's all of us, some of us, you know, if it's called Thursday, if it's not called Thursday, at some point we'd still like to be involved. And so we were having this conversation of to what degree, you know, we wanted to make an announcement of, and, you know, as we were deciding, like, actually going by the name Thursday and calling this Thursday, this thing that is no longer really Thursday, you know, that would be a mistake. Right then, somebody's like, look at Thrice.net or whatever, like, this is too funny. These guys just split the same day that we're talking about it. And it's just always one of those things where we had just finished making A City by the Light Divided, and it was really different for us. It was really, you know, had a lot of space in it, and it was really kind of wacky, like that we used Dave Fridman, the Flaming Lips producer, and had all these sounds that were really surprising. And we had just finished it. You know, nobody had heard it, but we were really proud of it. And the Thrice record came out like a week later. It was like totally different for them, and it was like more melodic. It sounded like Doves or something, you know, and we were just cracking up that we're always on this parallel career path with Thrice. And even before we had ever met Thrice, we'd play California and the stage hands would be like, you guys know Thrice? I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, you act a lot like them personally. You guys would get along real well. You should meet them. And when we met them finally and told them that story, they're like, that's so funny. Every time we would play the East Coast, people would be like, you guys know Thursday? Kind of remind me of those guys. And so it's like one of those things that we've never coordinated anything, but somehow our brains just work in tandem, you know? It's been really tough. Like when we started rehearsing for these shows, I had like a 29-song set list or something, and our songs aren't like NoFX songs, you know what I mean? They're like 5 minutes each. So we started being like, dude, 2 hours? Like, are you kidding? We can't play 2 hours. Like, you're always jumping off the drums and doing stuff. Like, we're gonna die if we play 2 hours. So it was hard to cut down. It's one of those things where we played Full Collapse in its entirety so much this year that we were like, you know, it's like as much as that's like the big record, we should only play a handful of songs off of it, because most people that really love us have already seen us play that record this year. So it was like conscious to play more off War All the Time, which is something we haven't concentrated on as much in a while, and A City by the Light Divided. And of course there's new songs thrown in. Even though I love the record, Common Existence is the one that got shorted the most. We play one song off of that for the set list, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think we'll probably end up changing from night to night too. And especially like if we do a New York show, then the New Jersey show will have like a pretty different set list. We've discussed whether or not to record some of the last stuff that we've written or not, or whether to do it now or to kind of wait until we've had a moment. I mean, even rehearsing for these shows, it's kind of like, you know, Niagara Falls in the middle of practice, everybody wiping their eyes like, wow, like these songs are great actually, you know what I mean? It's gonna be so hard. And I've played some of them over 1,000 times. I've played Understanding in a Car Crash probably like 1,400 times. And still, it still has power for me. So it's kind of one of those things where we've discussed like, do we want to record some of these last songs that we have, or is it better to just like leave them and then come back? Like Glassjaw had unrecorded songs for like 6 years while they broke up. And then when they got back together, the first thing they did was to record all these old songs that they had written, which I thought was so strange, but now I understand why. You know what I mean? It's like, until you're in that position, you can second guess it, but you never really know why. It's really hard to say like one single thing that I'd be most proud of for Thursday. I have to say that probably this year celebrating Full Collapse 10 years later and having it still making impact on people is something that I never expected and never could have even like dreamed of. And so that feels really good. There are lots of little things throughout the years, like touring with The Cure, collaborating with the Buzzcocks on stage, you know, playing Reading Festival on the main stage in front of people. Stuff like that is like something that I'll always keep with me. But for what I'm most proud of, like legacy-wise, it's the fact that my 2 favorite Thursday records came out 10 years apart to the week. Like that's just, I'm really proud that we got to end on one that I love as much as the one that kind of started our band. So I'm glad that we went out on a high note and we didn't just like decide to break up after we finally made like a clunker that everybody hates. That would be the worst, you know?